I was biking down Washington Avenue wearing my sneakers and a one-piece swimsuit from Rainbow that had the face of a sarcophagus on it and my helmet. And even though I looked like an idiot, I felt amazing. And that's because after years of not being a confident bike rider, and after a childhood where I was the only kid on the block who was too afraid to ride free, I was finally doing it. I had decided a couple days earlier that it was time for me to face my fear and learn to ride a bike. And this ride home from the Pride Parade on the sunny afternoon down Washington Ave was the first ride where instead of feeling fear, I was having fun. I thought to myself, if I can just ride like this for a week, I'll be a biker. Then I took a left down 17th Street to head south. I heard a car approaching behind me. My heart started to race and I said, "Don't worry, Kelsey, it's okay. They'll pass." The car sped up, and as they passed, the driver looked out the window and said, "You shouldn't be on the road," swerved, hit me, and as I tumbled into the gutter, my bike, my body, my big fat smile, I watched the car drive away. I was in shock. I heard someone nearby say, "Damn, they really hit her." But they didn't offer to help. So instead, I took stock of myself. I had scrapes. I was a little achy, but the helmet had done its job. I was still in one piece, wearing a one piece, but my bike was unrideable. So I got up and I started pushing it to my friend Zach's house because he lived a few miles away. A couple paces down the road, another car slowed down, rolled down the window. This time I found myself looking at a very attractive man. He said, "Hey, do you need help?" My hope returned. My smile returned. I thought, this must be the reason that happened, right? Like, this is it. This is my meet cute. This is my knight in shining armor, and I am the damsel in distress on 17th Street. Then I noticed his wedding ring. "No thanks," I said. By the time I got to Zach's house, I was full pity party mode on. I was achy, I was angry, and after about 5 minutes of listening to me, my friend Zach said, "Listen, Kelsey, I'm really sorry that happened to you, but you have to get over it, okay? Bikers are hit by drivers every single day in Philadelphia. And if you want to do your part, what you'll do is report it to the police so they have accurate count of how often this happens. That's what a biker would do." And I thought, he's right. I'm a biker. I've got the scars to prove it. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So I walked to his backyard. I started swinging in his hammock, like just enjoying myself because now I feel like bikers get hit every day. I'm a biker. And I call the non-emergency number to report it, but it's a Sunday, and the number is not open, right? No one's there. So I think, no big deal, no worries. I'll call the next day. Okay? So, the next day at my work, on my lunch, I call non-emergency, and the woman answers, and I say, "Hello, I was in a bike accident yesterday. I got hit by a car. I'd like to make a report." And she says, "A bike accident? That sounds like an emergency. You need to call the emergency number." And I said, "What number is that?" And she said, 911. And I said, "I can't call 911. This happened yesterday, and I'm barely hurt. Is there any other option?" And she said the only other option I had, if I didn't want to call 911, was to go file a police report in person. So after work that afternoon, I went to the neighborhood police office, the little precinct, and I walked in, I went up to the window, and I said hi, and a cop looked up at me, and I said, "Hi, I'm here, I would like to file a police report. I got hit by a car on my bike yesterday." And he said, "A bike accident? That sounds like an emergency. You have to call 911. And I was like, "But I'm in a police station talking to a police officer about filing a police report. And can I do that here?" And he looked at me and he said, sure, you can do it here. You can go sit on that bench and call 911, and an officer will respond to you here, or you can go home and do it there. Now, the thing is, this was getting to be a little bit more complex than I had anticipated, and I had happy hour plans, and I didn't want to go home yet, and I didn't want to call the cops to a restaurant, so I said, well, I mean, in that case, can I just call 911 tomorrow? And he looked at me like I was an idiot again and said, lady, you can call 911 whenever you want. So I left and I went to the bar. And the next day, after I got home from work, I made myself dinner. I put on my pre-pajamas, which is just like a sweatsuit I wear when I get home. I ate dinner, I got super cozy, and I called the cops. And they said, 911 emergency, what's the emergency? And I said, I was in a bike accident on Sunday, and I'd like to file a report because I'm a responsible biker. And they said, okay, we'll send someone. That was easy, finally. So a little bit later, I see the sirens in my window. I hear the pounding on the door. I come running downstairs, and I step out onto the stoop. I'm at 15th and Snyder. The cop has been driving an SUV cop car, so it's extra big. It's parked diagonally across the sidewalk on the corner, and the lights are just bouncing around. And he looks down at me, this tall cop. He looks down at me. I'm wearing a matching sweatsuit. I look calm as hell, and I look really well fed. And he says, did you call 911? And I said, yes. And he said, well, what happened? And I said, well, on Sunday, I was riding my bike at 17th and Washington, and I got hit by a car. He said, stop. Did you call 911 for something that happened 2 days ago? And I said, yes. And he said, did you know that 911 is for emergencies? And I said, yes, but everyone told me this was an emergency. And then I recounted. I was like, listen, I was on my bike. I was looking cute. I got hit by a car. I tried to call non-emergency several times. They told me to call you. I didn't. Blah, blah, blah. He listened mostly to the part where I was talking about which precinct I had visited, and he was taking down that. He gave me my police report so that I could feel I did my duty, right? I was like a biker. I had done it. The city had my numbers. They weren't going to do anything about it, but they had them. And as he drove away, I just was thinking to myself, you know what? If you can ever say, I'll just wait till the next day to call 911, it's not an emergency. Thank you very much.